evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show. Yay!
Hey, sorry.
Here we are.
I'll mute myself in time. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Yes, here we are. We're back. It's another Wednesday. It's another episode of our favourite show, Star Trek The Next Generation, with my co-host, Maz and Bob. Good evening, Maz.
People.
Good evening.
Evening.
We are missing G-Star this evening. The G-Star is not well, so we wish him well. So if you could send him good well wishes in chat, that would be great. Someone else who's not feeling very well today is Mickey. I see in chat he's not been well today either.
Sad times.
So he hasn't been able to watch the episode, and he might fall asleep during the stream. Well,
No.
snuggle up, Mickey, and I will tell you a story.
Yeah.
A Star Trek story. And
loads of spoilers if you haven't seen.
yeah, and warning, there will be spoilers. Yes. It'll save you watching it, though, you know. Yeah. But I hope both Mickey and G get well soon. I did wonder why Mickey was on so early, because usually he's on his way back from the gym about now. So I was how comes he hasn't gone to the gym? Well, it's because he's not very well.
Poor Mickey.
Poor Mickey. How are you, Maz and McBob? How are you feeling?
I'm very good. Yes, I'm fighting fit and healthy. Not much to report, although I did bottle my my slow gin. It's almost like strawberry coloured. I think it's because I got over enthusiastic with the amount of gin I put in it. But I've got 3 bottles of slow gin for us to enjoy at Christmas, which would be nice.
You need a Maz and McBob gin label for the front of it.
Yeah, it's in 3 different bottles. That one was a Earl Grey tea gin, but I've also put it in like a Whitley Neal and a Martin Miller. So I've just like reused some of my existing empties. But yeah, it's a really pretty colour, and nice. I did try some on Saturday, and it's quite tasty.
Very nice. I am looking forward to trying it. And
my knitting sales have picked up. I'd sold like 26 items in just under 2 weeks. So
very cool.
Because we're heading towards Christmas, so it's like more people buying things.
Wow.
But yeah, other than that, everything just working, everything ticking along as normal.
Everything's tickety-boo. Talking about tickety-boo, hello Stu Plum and Karen, Crystal Karen in chat. Good evening to you guys. Yeah, poor Mickey's not very well. Yes. Now, because we do not have G-Star with us this evening, it means I'm your quiz master this evening. The questions will be coming from me, and so I've put my normal amount of a huge amount of effort into it, as I always did, and I absolutely did not just do it with 5 minutes before we went live with Maz. Did we, Maz?
No, we did not.
No.
But the good news is, Mickey, if you listen to what Montalban is saying, you may end up being able to answer some of the questions.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I haven't... it's not multiple choice this evening because I'm doing it. It's just going to be question based on the previous scene. So all you have to do is listen, and you'll know the answer, because I will say it. I will say it in my dialogue, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, that's about it really. My week's been all right. Work's been busy. We've been live streaming every evening this week with Alex on my other channel, playing Road 96, which has been fun. Alex has had a lot of good times trying to get our characters over the border in Road 96. Yeah, it's really good. It's a bit like Maz. It's a bit like a choose your own story adventure.
Oh yeah.
You know, where it's like you're watching a story play out, but you get to choose the direction, like what some of the answers are and things. So you get to affect the outcome of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really good fun. So we've been doing that all week. Yeah. Oh. Shall we start with the episode?
Yeah, why not?
Are you ready with your spoilers and your plot points?
I
and
am.
Not spoilers.
Got me spoilers, got me trivias.
Goofs. That's it, goof girl.
Have you got your not goofs? Spoilers. Goofs and trivia. 4 pages on them this week. More than the 2 pages last week.
Wow. 4 pages of goofs. That's a lot of goofs. Let's get some goofs going on. Okay. Right then, I will start then. Who watches the Watchers? This is the teaser. The Enterprise is en route to Mantaka 3, where a 3-man Federation anthropological field team have been studying the inhabitants. Their mission is to supply the outpost and repair their malfunctioning reactor. Geordi enters the bridge and questions why their generator generates so much power, but it turns out it's for a holographic projector. The research station is a hidden duck blind, i.e. a camouflaged outpost. Troy tells them that the Mintakans are a proto-Vulcan humanoids at a Bronze Age level. They're peaceful and highly rational. They are then contacted by a Dr. Baron, who informs them their repairs have failed and they only have 3 hours of battery backup remaining. Data reports that if the Enterprise increases speed to Warp 7, they will reach the planet in 23 minutes. However, just as Picard was about to tell them to get underway, there's a large explosion, resulting in a power failure, injuries, and the transmission failing. Captain Picard orders the Enterprise to increase speed to Warp 9. And that is the teaser. Shall I go straight in for question time?
Yeah, why not?
Boom, straight in then.
Get a bit of interaction with our lovely peoples.
Question time! There we go. I tried to get an echo from the room. Don't know if that worked. So, question number 1 for the teaser section. What is the name of the planet that they're heading towards? So, what is the name of the planet?
Who was paying attention?
Who was paying attention? Yeah. Fingers on buzzers. Yeah. There is no options. There's no A, B, C, or D. So, Smile a Rainbow can stand down on the questions. It's just, what's the name of the planet? Put your answers into chat.
She gets an episode off.
Yeah.
So the apparently the idea. Well, there's a couple of things about where the idea might have come from, but the one of the things which was reported in sort of more recent, kind of, they do these like delving into the history of and all that sort of stuff online. But apparently it came from the TMA-1 team in 2001: A Space Odyssey. There was this concept of like watching other sort of cultures or something. So that's where like the concept of this came from. But then also the title is related to the phrase, and I'm going to not do this any justice, but quis custodiet ipsos custodes, which was a Latin phrase from the satires of Juvenal. So it's like an early sort of Roman philosopher, but apparently the same satires, the same sort of writer, was also there was another expression which was the title of another episode, but it was from the 60s, called Bread and Circuses. That was another quote from Juvenal, apparently. So yeah, they've used Juvenal quotes for a couple of episodes in Star Trek.
It's a juvenile quote.
Juvenal is a name. Sorry, yeah. it's a name, yeah. From it was a Roman sort of books, I guess, or like stories or writings, the satires of Juvenal, written around 100 AD apparently. And it's been variously translated as who watches the watchmen, or who will guard the guards, who will watch the watchers themselves. But effectively it's who watches the watchers. It's also the name of a Dean Koontz book. No, that was just Watchers, I think.
Watchers.
But the phrase was in the book, Who Watches the Watchers.
One of my favourite Dean Koontz books, that is.
Great book, yeah.
Watchers. One of my favourite books. I just love that book. It's a great story. It is the one with the dog, isn't it? I think.
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah, and the gorilla.
Yeah, it's great.
Big thingy.
Yeah. 10 rings. Andor's right. Okay, so a couple of things I missed because I'm a spoon. Firstly, pictures. There you go. I didn't put the pictures up. So there's the title screen with the Enterprise orbiting the planet in question. And,
pretty. Looks earthy with the blue and the green.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I would have thought, well, yeah, it does suppose it really matters, but as they were proto-Vulcan, and I would have expected them to grow up like Vulcans, that it would have been more deserty and volcanic and hostile, because Vulcans and Romulans prefer like hostile, like planetary environments, and as they, well, we'll get onto them being Vulcan-like in a minute, but yeah. So the fact that it's all green, lush, and full of water was a bit of surprise, but yeah, it looks very nice. It looks very nice.
It does.
As we see later on, it looks kind of like California.
Be a reason for that.
Yeah, like a lot of planets do in Star Trek.
Well, at least they're not using a bloody set, though.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think that's one of the positives, is they are actually, filming kind of on location, which is a
for sure
massive step up.
And the other thing
so we've got a few questions. We've got a few answers.
I was going to say the other thing was we have blood wine this evening.
We do. So, I haven't tasted this yet, but this is a Toscana. What's it? A Saragossa Toscana. So.
Well, tonight I've got an Argentinian Malbec.
Ooh, I love a Malbec.
So, very nice, very nice. And the answers, yes.
Oof, that's very nice as well.
We've got a series of answers, and I'm going to pick the best one. So, Mickey went with Andor 3, which...
That's half right.
It's kind of right. Half, not quite right. Stuplum went with Mintaka 3, and Karen went with 10 Rings. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where 10 Rings came from, but I assume that's what her answer is to the question. Or, yeah, there we go. And the points go to Stuplum. Yay.
Yep, Mickey got the 3 right, but it wasn't Andor, it was Mintaka.
It was Mintaka. So I don't know if you
Apparently, you'd know this more than me, but Mintaka is also the name of the westernmost star of the 3 stars on Orion's belt in the constellation Orion.
Did not know that. I know the other one on the other end is Betelgeuse, or one of them.
Oh,
right.
It's a white-blue supergiant star. Yeah. Apparently it's about 7,000 times brighter than our sun.
Wow.
Yeah, exciting.
Betelgeuse and Orion is quite a spectacular star as well. It's one of our closest supergiant red giants. It's the star that's most likely going supernova in our area of the galaxy. Mm-hmm. There you go. Yes, I didn't know that. No, that's interesting. So yes, I don't think that's
right.
Have you got a pen and paper there?
Oh, I do.
To put down
Stuplum
score.
Cars.
And we'll give Stuplum. And I've got a little fly.
Smiler in case she wants to guess later.
Yes.
How many points did Stuplum get?
Well, we'll start off small and give him 1,000. Yay!
Cool. So Stuplum has broken all records previously scored on the first question and has 1,000 points.
Yes.
Everybody else still to get off the mark, unless, we give Mickey a couple of points for the 3. But that's the only other.
You never know. I might give 50 points out for the next question. You just don't know. You just don't know.
Just don't know.
No. Right. So Act 1. The Enterprise away team, consisting of Riker, Dr. Crusher, Geordi, Data, and a random medic, beams down to the station. Once there, they begin their repairs. Now, who else thought when they saw that away team and saw that random medic?
Thought the doctor was going to die.
Yeah, thought he's not long for this world.
He's doomed.
He's doomed. But he's fine. It's all fine. Then we join the Mintakan father and daughter duo of Liko and OG. OG has been appointed the record keeper of her village and has the responsibility of checking the sundial. As she's performing this task, the pair notice flashing lights coming from behind the failed holographic wall.
Did you notice the little issue with her capturing the thingy when the sun is at its zenith?
Yeah, there was no sun in the sky?
Well, do you know what the zenith is?
Is that at the top?
Yeah, it's when it's right overhead, but you could really tell it was like total sunset, because of the super long shadows and the almost sort of pinky glow to the... So, yeah, it was nowhere near its zenith, but never mind.
Nobody said she was any good at her job,
I have to do it at the zenith. So, yeah, she goes up there like 6 hours later.
Yeah. Oh, well. Yes, and also it's a bit of a janky thing there, sundial prop, because she's trying to rotate it and it's wobbling about all over the place, and I'm thinking if she moves that a little bit too much, the whole thing is just going to fall apart. It's not the bestly made thing in the world, but
no,
she's gathering her data or doing whatever she needs, and they notice the lights. They notice it basically before the holographic generator can be repaired. Liko, or is it Lyco? I can't remember.
Liko
manages to get a glimpse of inside. Oh, here we go. Here he is. There he is. There's Liko. He's peering up through the window. And you can tell there he's touching the edge of the window frame, the metal window frame. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah, so he's getting a glimpse inside, and he sees our random medic beaming up to the Enterprise with a patient. He's then noticed by Data and accidentally touches the walls of the window, which causes an electrical discharge, causing him to fall off the rock face, plunging down to the ground below. Dr. Crusher, acting upon instinct, goes down, scans him with her tricorder, and beams him directly to sickbay. OG is amazed when she sees both her father and the doctor disappear into thin air, just as the holographic generator is successfully repaired, restoring the rock wall to its normal appearance. In sickbay, Picard's arrived and is none too pleased. Dr. Crusher defends her decision to violate the Prime Directive, as Liko had already seen inside the research station. And so it was beam him up or let him die. Picard's like, why did you not let him die? Which I thought was a little bit cold. As Crusher points out that the whole thing was their responsibility because they were there and caused the injuries. So it was only right that they should try to put it right. She offers to perform a short-term memory wipe, a technique developed by Dr. Pulaski, the better doctor. But G's not here. G's not here. My little Dr. Pulaski, big up. Yeah.
They are Bronze Age, Stu Blum says. Yes, that's right. They are Bronze Age.
Yeah. Did I say it? Didn't I? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but that's true. I don't know what it was in relation to, but it is true.
I think Troy says it earlier, didn't she? She said,
yeah, they say the Proto-Vulcans around the Bronze Age.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The better doctor. Where was that? Oh, yeah. But Dr. Crusher is not sure how well it will work because of their brain chemistry. When Dr. Barron awakens in the next bed, he is informed of the situation And the situation is that one of the scientists, Dr. Palmer, is still missing down on the planet. Liko sees Picard explaining this and giving several orders to other crew members before Dr. Crusher resedates him. After Liko is sedated, Picard tells Crusher that her next task is clear before leaving sickbay. Liko's beamed down to the planet and calls for OG. Unfortunately, he remembers everything. After being reunited with his daughter, Liko explains how he is convinced that the beings of old legends have saved him, and he knows the name of one of them, the Picard. He and his daughter head back to their people, with Liko telling OG that they must inform the others of his experiences. And that was Act 1.
Yeah. What have I got to say about that? I mean, one thing is sort of on the they are Bronze Age thing, but they also call them, like proto-Vulcans or what have you. Therefore, they're super rational and reasonable and scientifically minded and all that kind of thing. But actually, I thought the early Vulcans were supposed to have been complete slaves to their hyper emotions and basically been like savages.
They were, yeah.
So it's kind of like a little bit of a mistake to have assumed that, they must be super logical because they were early Vulcans, because that's the opposite of what Vulcans were like.
Yeah, they're not very early Vulcan-like at all, because Vulcans were like warlike and savage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That wasn't, that wasn't like a piece of trivia that I read. It's just something that kind of occurred to me.
Yeah. That's good.
And yeah, so as you mentioned, this, a lot of these outside shots are actually filmed in, where is it? Santa Clarita, California, which is actually, so it's at the Vasquez Rocks, which is where one of the 60s episodes, Star Trek Arena, was filmed. And apparently it was like sort of 38, 40 degree heat. So it was quite, sort of trying, I guess, to be filming in that kind of a heat. But also because there were a lot of things like snakes and scorpions and all that kind of thing. People weren't allowed to wear anything that was too fragrant. So they weren't even allowed to wear deodorants and stuff. So they were all a bit hot and all a bit stinky.
They actually... I've got some other little things to show you. It's Arena, Shore Leave, and the Alternative Factor are all original 60s Star Trek episodes that were filmed around the same hills, exactly the same hills as the outside shots of these. And I can show you a comparison.
And the other thing, you mentioned this last week, but this episode is basically a mini version of what they then ended up doing in Insurrection. And Insurrection, used the same kind of duck blind. Oh, yeah.
So 60s Star Trek, this is Shore Leave, I think. And this is it in this episode.
Yeah.
And we've got the Alternative Factor. Here, the hills, and here is exactly the same hills in this episode. And the other thing I noticed, and I found it on this website, some pictures to demonstrate it. Inside the research station, there is this table here. Mm-hmm. Now, it's been spray painted black, but that's actually Dr. Pulaski's desk from sickbay from season 2. So if you look at that desk here with the bump and the splayed out legs, and then we look at this from the child, here's Pulaski behind her desk. Here we are with the bump and the splayed out legs. They painted it black and reused it in this scene. So there you go.
Stuplum says sundial. Is that a reference to Bronze Age? Was it made out of the wrong material or something? Or were they not supposed to have been invented then?
I don't know. I mean, sundials are made of bronze. It can be.
I don't know.
I think.
apparently some people, in terms of goofs, I know I'm sort of skipping ahead, but they use a bow later, and apparently some people were saying, at the Bronze Age they wouldn't have had a bow like that, etc. But that's not to say that all different civilizations are going to progress certain things at the exact same rate. So using a pulley system on a bow is not beyond the realms of possibility that a proto-Vulcan might have come up with that, even if an early human didn't. So
it's like it happens on this planet. If you think the Egyptians got to a level of culture and sophistication where they had cities, they had the biggest monuments and things that have ever been built, and they did all that without inventing the wheel. Now, there are other cultures on the planet at the same time as the Egyptians who were nowhere near as advanced as the Egyptians, but
invented the wheel.
They had invented the wheel and could, till their soil and move things around a lot easier than the Egyptians could. But they never invented the wheel, the Egyptians. One of those weird things.
I always like that. I know it's like, sort of technically unproven or whatever, but I always like that phrase, like, how did they move those stones, those great big stones? They did it with whips, great big whips.
Yeah. Well, that was the original thinking, but now the thinking is with money. They were very prosperous and paid their people really well. And
just always makes me chuckle. Whips, very big whips.
Very big whips.
Oh dear.
Is that a Red Dwarf thing?
I don't know. It sounds like something from Red Dwarf. I think it might.
I think it's something Lister says.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
See, it was kind of a sci-fi reference.
Okay, so we got a question. This is Act 1's question. And Act 1's question is, what is the name of Liko's daughter? What is the name of Liko's daughter? I mentioned it a couple of times. And
you did
now,
indeed.
Courtesy of my son Alex and Smiler Rainbow, I can taste test, fresh out of the oven, chocolate brownies.
I bet you don't mind being used as a guinea pig, do you?
No. Is anybody interested to know what they taste like?
Absolutely.
I made them with Mum.
Are they both the same, or is that two different sort of batches or flavours?
No, I think they're the same.
Are they good?
Wow, nice.
They're nice? I haven't even had one yet.
Chocolatey.
Nice. Oh, and obviously Dr. Pulaski was mentioned, and that is the first time she's been mentioned since leaving the series, obviously, and is pretty much never mentioned again, ever. I think there's one slightly obscure reference to her in Voyager, and
What was
that's
the
about
name of
it.
Liko's daughter? L-I-K-O.
Likos.
Liko. What's the name of Liko's daughter? Get your answers into chat. No cheating.
Karen has suggested Nicorette, as in like the patches. Karen has also said no aliens. That might have been in reference to the Egyptians.
I'll give you a clue.
It's like people are putting random things in chat that are a bit out of context, right? Give us more context.
I'll give you a clue. Simpson. I don't know if that helps, really.
Oh, right, I see.
The innocent one. The one that was definitely innocent. Absolutely 100% didn't do it.
Stu Plum has made a guess. What else?
Wow. We've got this wonderful picture here. This is what Liko saw when he woke up in sickbay.
Yeah.
Strange filter
Kind of
they
a
put on
blurry
the.
Picard.
This is what Karen sees in her dreams.
Because you said about The Simpsons, Mickey's guest Maggie, Karen's guest Marge.
Well,
Not that Simpsons.
I think we've got all the answers in now. I said Simpson,
Yeah.
not Simpsons, but
Yeah, you said the innocent one.
the innocent Simpson,
As in
as in
OJ.
OG. Yeah, so Stuplum gets it right again for the second question in a row.
Golly.
OG.
Well done, Stuplum.
Yeah.
How many points is he going to get for this question then?
Oh, for that question, he gets 1,278.
Okay. So Stuplum's now on 2,278. And Kaz, Mickey, and Smiler are yet to get off the blocks.
Yes. There's a slight gap. I'll leave this picture up a little bit longer for you, Karen, because I think we're due to move on to the next picture now. So
she's loving the picture of Picard. Is this what you want to see when you wake up in the morning, Kaz, I presume?
Look at the way he's looking at you, look, with those eyes. Are you feeling things?
It was a little bit like, it was probably super. Oh, she says Stuplum should get a brownie as a prize. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But it was super important to keep this guy sedated, right? And they have all sorts of little devices and things. They can put like a little device at your temple that keeps you unconscious and all that kind of thing. But he's been like knocked out, and then they're not even keeping an eye on him. They're not actually keeping him sedated in the way that anaesthetologists have been able to do for a very long time, even in our day and age. They haven't even got him monitored so that they know when he's waking up, and he's just able to sit there watching and listening to everything that's going on. It just seems really, they could have done a much better job.
This is a good time to also mention the whole duck blind thing.
Yeah.
The whole research station idea. I mean, who in Starfleet Command signed off on that and thought that was a good idea? You know, the Americans in like the Cold War knew everything that was going on in Russia, from like spy aircraft flying at high altitude, just with very big lenses looking at the ground.
You get directional microphones and all sorts of things these days. And in that kind of day and age with technology and such, like, you know, you'd surely be able to just beam down a couple of bugs, or, you know, just some sort of surveillance equipment, or I don't know,
or if
something simple.
If you did have to be nearby, you could be, I don't know, 30 feet underground or something, or, you know what I mean? Not just like right out in the open. We're relying on a hologram. And what happens in like a couple of 100 years? They go, archaeologists look at that site as like, oh, this is where our forebearers came from, and they're looking at, there's these chisel marks in these. What's this? This
what's this metal alloy?
Yeah.
Why, you know,
I know
this isn't in keeping with our manufacturing techniques.
It seems like a bit of a silly thing for them to have done. I know it's for the story and whatnot, but.
Yeah, and they do it again in Insurrection, don't they? And that also goes horribly wrong.
I say, yeah, it's this is Insurrection. The was it the 9th Star Trek film? Yeah, Star Trek 9, Insurrection. This is the mini version of that film, really, in some ways.
Yeah, Mickey's saying they should have used Google Alien Earth to have a look.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. I mean, if we can do stuff like that now, you think in 400 years' time they'd have much more, you know, non-invasive ways of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we've waffled on just so Crystal Karen can gaze upon her Picard that little bit longer. But now we're moving on, and we're heading into the observation lounge. Riker reports that Palmer is still missing. Data explains that Mintaka 3 exhibits karst topography. What's karst topography, you might ask? I don't know, but it's a weird word. I should have looked it up. Did you? Somebody tell me. Anyway, it seems
I did not. I didn't even notice he said it.
Karst topography, I think, means irregular terrain. So, notably, sinkholes, underground rivers, and caverns. He explains that the rock strata also contains a high concentration in thallium, which is interfering with the ship's sensors, making it difficult to locate Palmer's life signs. Crusher underlies the importance of finding Palmer as he is badly injured and suggests sending an away team down to locate him. Troy notes that their presence must not interfere with the natural development of the Mintakans, and Picard agrees, noting that the cultural contamination must be prevented. Commander Riker tells Captain he has a suggestion. Riker plans for him and Councillor Troy to beam down to Mintaka 3 to locate Dr. Palmer and determine the extent of the contamination. Dr. Crusher temporarily alters their features and skin colour to make them look Mintakan. She also implants subcutaneous communicators so that any transmissions they receive will be inaudible to the Mintakans. Subcutaneous. That was a word I struggled to get out there. Well, I got my mouth around it eventually. Riker and Troy beam down. Troy tells Riker that the Mintakans are a very sensible race. For example, the females have to walk in front of their males. Riker incorrectly guesses that is a signal to other women that this man's taken, go get your own. But in fact, Troy explains that it's if you want this man's services, then I'm the one you need to negotiate with. And Riker's like, what services are we talking about? And she's like, any services?
Quite suggestively.
Quite suggestively. They arrive in town and they hear that Lyco's story, Lyco's story is continuing around. Lyco's telling an elder who thinks he might have witnessed an overseer. Lyco agrees. He has witnessed an overseer, and the overseer's name is Picard. Rot-roll. Nuria, their leader, is a skeptic and questions Lyco's story to convince them that it was all a dream, but to no avail. Then, unfortunately, Dr. Palmer's brought in, which kind of scuppers the whole it's not real thing. Here's an alien. And Lyco's convinced that finding Palmer will please the Picard. Riker contacts the Enterprise.
I'm hoping everything's okay. I just had a little thingy going around in circles. We still seem to be okay, but yeah, I don't know if you're having any little minor signally thingies maybe, but we'll keep everything crossed.
Yeah, no, it's looking all right, and my dashboard's telling me everything is fine. So,
Goodo.
Can you let us know in chat if you're receiving this nice and clearly? That would be great.
Karen's saying since having COVID, she doesn't fancy anything sweet. No chocolate cakes or sweets. Is that because you can't taste them?
That's not good, is it?
That's such a shame.
Well, Karen, next time you're down, you can still make your cakes, but I'll eat them all for you. That's just.
What an offer! You're so generous.
I'm generous.
Monty.
That's just how generous I am. Right. What was I saying? Where was I?
Sorry, yeah, didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, Riker contacts the Enterprise and reports that, sir, we have a problem. He tells Picard that the Mintakans are beginning to believe in a god, and the one they have chosen is Picard. And that's the end of Act 2. So
there was somebody that's written like a goof, but I don't think it is really a goof. But they were saying, the Mintakans don't have facial hair, so surely they would have shaved Riker or sent somebody without facial hair. But I mean, obviously, none of the ones we see have facial hair, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't grow facial hair. So
Vulcans
I don't know that's. Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that's a correct goof anyway. But he does sort of look a little bit odd. He doesn't look... I mean, even though Vulcans can grow a beard, how often do you see a Vulcan with a big bushy full beard like that? It does look a bit odd, but anyway.
Only Spock in the Mirror Universe.
Yeah, but even then it's like a little goatee, isn't it? It's not like a full bushy beard.
Spock's brother in Star Trek V. He's got a big grey beard.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, he does.
There you go.
I think he does. Does he?
I don't know. You're telling me. This is one of 2 times where Troy has to wear pointy ears. She does go undercover at another point as a Romulan. So yeah, she does do the pointy ears 2 times. What else? Oh yeah, and also an observation was made that with that guy.
Cybok.
I remember. Yeah. Good call.
Vulcan with a big bushy beard.
Yeah, nice.
He also smiles a lot, and it's not very Vulcan-like. He's that one sibling of Spock's that we didn't know he had until that point. It's like, well, Spock, you keep things close to yourself. Until we get to Star Trek Discovery and find out they had a human sister as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll probably find out he was one of 8 by the time, they finish writing.
And they never mention Cybok. Poor Cybok.
No, that's it.
I feel sorry for the dude.
Very strange. So what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah, some observations about the fact that this... I mean, they're on a recovery mission anyway, I guess. But almost every other time that Riker goes undercover on some planet, it goes really sideways. There's a few examples. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but like that First Contact one where he ends up in a hospital and like they figure out he's not one of their race and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. And the scientist woman rapes him to get
basically, yeah. I mean, that would assume it was against his will, which I don't think it really was, to be fair. He'll pretty much bang anything. But yeah. But yeah, there's like 3 or 4 others where, it always goes horribly wrong. So they should just stop sending him in anywhere undercover.
I got to stop eating this.
Because you can't narrate while you're eating.
No.
Apparently in the original thing, like when Crusher originally contacts the Enterprise to beam up with Liko, apparently in the original, like non-digitally remastered, the reply was "Yes, Captain" rather than "Yes, Doctor," but they've corrected that. Apparently they've dubbed over another voice now. So that's one goof that has been fixed. Don't know what else. Zenith, we did that one.
Should I go for a question time?
Yeah, go on.
Question time.
Time.
Okay, so what was the name of the doctor who went missing on the planet? What was the name?
I know.
Of the doctor who went missing on the planet?
Here's a clue.
5. 5 will make you get up. No.
What else have we got? That hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet. No, don't have anything else for you at the moment.
No.
Don't think so.
Whilst the answers are coming in thick and fast, I'll carry on with Act 3.
Yeah, do that.
Picard informs Dr. Barron in sickbay, who is adamant that Beep should be beamed aboard immediately. Since the cultural damage has been done, Picard contacts Riker and asks him to find a way of beaming Beep up without anyone seeing Beep. Barron, this is not that easy, is it now? Barron reminds Picard that Beep's life is endangered by not acting to rescue him. But Picard tells Dr. Barron that the Doctor, as well as each of them, swore an oath to uphold the Prime Directive, if necessary, at the cost of their own lives. The town concludes that Beep should be kept safe to please the Picard, and as he's forced as he was found in a cave, he will be bound in case he was hiding from the Picard. Maybe he ran away because they don't know why he wasn't. taken with the others. Liko thinks that the Picard will reward them, like granting them gentle winters, or plentiful crops, or bringing the dead back to life. It's a bit of a stretch. Troy attempts.
Yeah. I mean, in all the crazy, God theories humanity's cooked up over the thousands of years, none of them just bring people back from the dead.
Well, apart from end of days in the Bible, they all get. The town concludes. Oh no! Troy attempts to distract many members by claiming that another servant of Picard is headed for the caves. While they're all gone, so they all go with her to look for this new guy. While they're gone, Riker binds the lone elderly guard, Fento, and escapes with beep. Right, let's see what answers we've got then, because I'm fed up of beeping my words. I've never beeped so many beeps in my life.
Mickey went with V. I wasn't sure why, whether he thought I did that, but I was pointing at this part. The palm. The palm of my hand.
Yeah. Karen went with nothing. And Stu Plum went with the correct answer. Dr. Palmer.
Nice.
Dr. Palmer.
So how many points for Stu Plum this time?
This time, he gets 2,000 points.
Wow. So you're now on 4,278 points, Stu Plum. And nothing for anyone else, I'm afraid.
Why 4,000?
Because he got 2,000 points.
Oh.
He got 1,000, then he got 1,278, and now he's got 2,000. So now he's on 4,278.
No, you can add. You're doing well. You're doing better than I can.
I can it's here.
Oh, I can see your workings out. That's great.
One thing I was going to mention, as it can be said now, it's not something that hasn't happened yet, is apparently in kind of more recent interviews, Jonathan Frakes has said that doing this episode really gave him an appreciation for what Dorn goes through every day, because it's like the first time he's had to do like proper kind of prosthetic alien makeup, and he didn't realize like what a pain in the ass it was. And of course for them it's like a one-off. For Michael Dorn it's like literally his entire existence is spent with a big heavy latex mask, even bigger than what they're wearing here. So I thought that was quite cool.
Yes, Mickey thought it was Roman numerals for 5.
Roman numerals for 5. I see.
Clever, very clever.
I was trying to give clues. You've got to listen to, I don't know if you've noticed a theme, but all of the questions are, what is the name of? So keep listening for more names, and then, maybe you'll get some right later on.
This is a what is the name of episode, because we put so much thought and effort
decided
into
on a theme.
Oh dear, never mind. So yes, the elderly guard Fento and escaped. He binds up the elderly guard Fento and escapes with Dr. Palmer. OG leaves and decides to leave. OG decides to leave Troy's hunting party to return to her sundial duties and discovers Riker rescuing Palmer. She raises the alarm, but Riker manages to escape through hiding in a hole in the rock and beams back to the ship before he's caught by the group. Troy, however, is captured. They didn't think that one through, did they, really? And Liko suggests they harm Troy to hold off Picard's anger. Nuria refuses, as they don't have enough proof that would help. They've got to at least try to find Riker and Palmer first, noting that Riker is carrying Palmer, so they couldn't have got far. Meanwhile, in the observation lounge on the ship, Picard's consulting with Dr. Barron about what the Mintakans are likely to do. And he confirms that they are not normally violent, but these are extraordinary circumstances and suggests Picard show them a sign. Picard refuses, citing again the Prime Directive and all the damage it would do. Baron, though, states that without guidance, they will continue this belief system and it could morph and lead to insurrection, inquisitions, holy wars, and chaos. Picard states that he cannot impose a set of commandments on these people. He won't send them back to the dark ages of superstition, ignorance, and fear. He got very passionate about those points. Instead, he believes that he can convince Nuria that the Picard is not magical, simply just a very advanced person. He announces that he will show Nuria how the magic works by beaming her aboard. One of the many times Picard shows girls the size of his starship. He does, though. He does this a lot.
Yeah, and I was... one place I read said, he does this 3 times, not showing them the size of his starship, but showing women their planet from the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And another one said that he's done it 4 times. So the first one, I think there was Justice in the first series.
Yeah.
He did that. And then in Star Trek First Contact, the film,
he does it.
He does that with Lily.
Yep.
And then the question is whether he also does that with... that other First Contact, the episode I was just saying about earlier, where Riker gets found out to be an alien. There was one reference. So on IMDb, it says he does it 3 times. On Memory Alpha, it says he does it 4 times, and that he does it in that episode as well, actually, with that character called Mirasta Yale. In First Contact episode. So I can't remember whether he does show her the planet or not. But it's what he does often. And I think, as we mentioned in Justice, it's because he said that the first time he was on a starship and looked down at his planet, time seemed to stop. And it was like a real kind of, life-changing moment for him. And he kind of likes to share that moment of awe-inspiring kind of, humbleness with other people when he's trying to sort of get a point across, I guess.
And here's me making something dirty out of it. I feel cheap. Anyway, because he wants to be alone, Picard dismisses the transporter chief and waits for Nuri to be alone and beams her onto the transporter pad. He greets her as being Picard, and upon hearing his name, she cries out and bows in reverence. That's the end of Act 3. So it's question time. And the question is, what is the name of the elderly guard who Riker ties up?
Were you listening for names this time?
What is the name of the elderly guard that Riker ties up? Yeah. I've got an interesting little thing that we've got coming up in the next act. It's a...
is this the planet?
This is the planet.
Yeah, the planet. So there was originally a bit of trivia that the planet was the same one they used, the same sort of optical as they used for Beta Z in an earlier episode. However, we think that's not the case because they've digitally remastered it, so it's probably completely different.
It may be still the same one. They might have digitally remastered the same...
Both of them?
thing the same way, but
this... Did you know there was a...
That's
what it originally looked like.
That's what it originally looked like. That was the original planet. As Picard's showing Nuri in the observation lounge, and you can see the reflection of this rubbish planet in the glass table, and you can also see it reflected in the stone pillar, which props the conference table up. And in the...
So I was originally commenting to Monty Ban earlier that, it occurred to me that that's probably a green screen. And the fact that there was a reflection at all, I found quite impressive, actually, because they've had to put that in separately because it wouldn't have shown up as, green screen or what have you. So I thought that was quite impressive.
And so in the Blu-ray, that's what it looks now. So you can see that the planet is now a lot more detailed and a lot more realistic looking. And they've also touched up the reflection to match the green screen. And they also decided that the stone pillars wouldn't reflect the planet in exactly the same way. So they took the reflection out of the stone pillar.
But oddly, they left in the reflection of like the bulkhead there. Yeah,
maybe it's just because of the angle. Maybe they're thinking that this would have not, I don't know. That was on purpose. They made that decision to take that reflection off that surface.
Yeah, the planet looks way better though.
It does, doesn't it?
There's like a big round lake there somewhere on that continent.
Oh, I think there was a lake there before. Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah.
It's the same land masses. They've left the planet looking the same as it was depicted, the land masses, but they've just made it look a lot more detailed. But yeah, it's a lot better. You can see mountain ranges and things. And
Mickey says it's Nuria's old mate who happened to be a guard.
Oh, yes.
The name of the old guard. It's Nuria's old mate who happened to be a guard.
Well, if that's if that's the only answer we get, that could win.
And the question is, what was the name of the old fogey that Riker tied up?
Thank you, Smiler.
I think this is the hardest one, actually, of all of the what is the name of questions. This is the one that I didn't have a clue of. So I was listening hard earlier and I did catch it. But
I did say...
I didn't know this when you mentioned it earlier.
You did point out during this act that it's names of people. And after you mentioned that, I did read out that line twice.
Yeah.
and put emphasis on the name. Just to see if anybody would pick it up.
Doesn't look like anybody has, but we will see.
I'm gonna call it closed because we're gonna get on with Act 4, and if no one else gets any answers in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, before you do, I was just going to say that apparently this scene here that we're looking at, which is around 30 minutes, one of the goof things was that a boom mic was visible at the top. But they must have gotten rid of that as well because I couldn't see that at all.
I don't know.
I don't know whether it was in the original non-digitally remastered ones, but I looked at it from about minute 28 to about minute 32, and I went back and checked it twice, and I couldn't see any boom mic anywhere.
No, Stu Plum's got no answer. So, the answer to what's the name of the old geezer that Riker tied up? It is Fento.
I was just trying to beat you to it.
So Mickey saying it's Nuria's old mate. Who happened to be a guard. I think it is because I think he's actually like the mystic or like the wise man of the village, and
so
he
you
just
got closest,
happened
basically.
to be placed in guard, just because he wasn't going to go running off into the hills. So I'm going to give that answer to Mickey and say congratulations, you've got yourself 2,339 points.
Nice. So Stu Plum on 4278, Mickey on 2339, Kaz and Smile. I'm not sure Smiler's actually playing today.
No.
Kaz still to get off the mark.
Yeah. What yeah. So we'll just go back to my other pictures. my other pictures. Where are you, my other pictures?
Come here, my pretty pictures.
There we go. Right. She looks in awe at the Picard. Just imagine if that was Karen. Look.
Oh, Kaz, imagine if he was holding your hand like that.
So, yeah. Picard tells Nuria to get up and tries to talk her out of her superstitions by feeling the warmth of his hand and the rhythm of his heart.
It's odd the way you paused beforehand then. The warmth of his
hand.
That
was just for Karen, that was. Yes, he's tried to demonstrate that he's a living, breathing being, but it doesn't work. So he shows her around the ship. First, she marvels at the magic self-opening walls, and then sees the view of her own world from the observation lounge. Picard continues to explain to her the fact that he's only a flesh and blood being, and he uses technology as an analogy. He asks her if they had always lived in huts and used bows. She confirmed that they found that they once lived in caves. He asks, why do you not live in caves now? Because they are cold and damp. And he asks her, would a person who lived in the cave, what would they think about you if they met you today? Living in your huts and hunting with bows. And she said, well, they would think it was magic. She listens to his words and says she now fears him less than she did before. Picard says his people once lived in caves, and then they built huts, and now they build ships like this one and travel among the stars. Nuria hopes that maybe one day her people will travel among the stars, like Picard's, and Picard has no doubt they will. Meanwhile, on the planet, a storm frightens Liko. It's out of season, and it's quite intense. Believing Picard has sent it, Liko heads off to find Nuria to ask her advice on what to do next. He's not going to find her though, because she ain't around. In Picard's ready room, Nuria is marvelling at all the things Picard has shown her and asks Picard to bring back her people who were lost recently in the floods. Picard's kind of like, oh, God damn it. He thought he'd gone through, but it turns out he hasn't. Picard says he cannot, but Nuria thinks that she has displeased him in some way, that he will not do this for her. And he's realised that, despite all his efforts, he has still not gotten through. On the planet, without Nuria to question his actions, Liko prepares to sacrifice Troy, feeling he has no other choice. And that was the end of Act 4. Boom, done, dusted, out of there.
So there's a continuity thing, which was originally listed as when Picard and Riker were speaking to Dr. Barron, but also occurred in that scene there between Picard and Nuria.
Oh, right.
Not there, but when they were in the, when he was showing her the planet and stuff. Which is that when it's sort of in close on their face, like when Picard was speaking or Nuria was speaking, it was switching between them. The stars are moving. And then when the picture is sort of further back with them both in the screen with multiple windows in the background, the stars are static.
Yeah.
And then it zooms in again, they're moving, static, moving, static. And the same thing happened with the scene with Dr. Barron, and the same thing happened with the scene there with Picard and Nuria.
Yeah. I've actually got a pic. Well, yeah, you can't tell from the pictures, but, I'm going to do it. Hell, why not?
What are you going to do?
We've got time. Well, it's nothing particular, but here's a lovely close-up shot of Picard. Moving stars.
Yeah.
A close-up shot of Nuria. Moving stars.
Moving stars.
Wide-angle shot. Static stars.
Static stars. Yeah.
and the star field, because they use the static star curtain rather than the moving star curtain, there's a lot less stars.
They're more spaced out.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look a lot different. Also, when you see the shot from this direction, like the planet's disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
There was a big planet there a second ago.
Yeah.
Planet's gone.
Yeah, good
Poof,
point.
just like that.
I should have spotted that. Very good point.
Right. Question time. Ooh, yeah. So this is the Act 4 question. And we've said this name a fair bit, but what is the name of the leader of the people that Picard beams on board?
The one currently pictured on screen.
Oh, yeah. There's a clue. She's on the screen. You can see her lovely face there.
I was looking up who some of these actors and extras were and whether they've been in any other things.
I'm pretty sure this one plays a Romulan or a Romulan commander or something later on. Does she not?
Do you know, I didn't specifically look into her, but as an older lady now, like she's quite sort of striking. She's quite a stunning looking lady. You know, she's got very sort of white hair, but yeah, she's sort of aged quite stunningly, I think. An interesting one that I specifically was looking for was OG, the daughter. There's just something about her voice like seemed familiar to me, and I just thought, it'd be interesting to look her up. And in this episode, she appears to be tiny, doesn't she? Like she looks like quite a young person, but she's actually, I think, 23 when this was filmed. So she's fully an adult, even though she looks like a little girl. But she has been in loads of things. Like her filmography on IMDb is like 214 appearances. But when you scroll down the list, they're almost all, a vast majority of them are like voices in various cartoons and things like King of the Hill and all sorts of things that she's done sort of voices for. But yeah, she's been in a variety of films and things as extra parts, like, you know, parents, not extras, but, you know, like parents of a lead character or whatever, that kind of supporting roles. So yeah, but 214 things she's been in, crazy. A, B, C, D, E, none of the above.
No, she wasn't. She the lady we're looking at, she didn't play any other characters. I thought she did. She's been in about every show I've ever watched.
Oh, right.
No, she, as you say, she's an attractive old lady, isn't she? Yes, no, don't know. She's not been in any more Star Trek episodes, just this one. Anyway.
He thinks the leader is Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. Well, it's his hairstyle, I guess. Yeah. So I think
Plum's answered
we
as well.
We got the answers in. Yep, and the answer is Nuria. However you want to spell it, that is correct. So Mickey and Stu Plum, you both get points for that question. That's what it is. Yes, a question. That's what we're doing. And how many points do they get? That's the question. 3,800.
Oh, crap.
And 48.
Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a roundup of the scores later.
I'm only doing it just to make Maz's life difficult. That's all.
One, carry the one.
Okay, so yes, that's it. Act 5. Hey guys, we're on the final act.
6.
We're doing well. We're doing real well. Right.
So Stu is in the lead with 8,126, and Mickey is in second place with 6,187.
It's still all to play for. It really, Karen, even you could still win this. Because you don't know what I'll do.
The last question could be a million points.
It could be. It could be trillion. You just don't know. You don't know what I'm capable of. Okay, so Act 5. Since there seems to be nothing else he can do to convince her, Picard takes her down to sick bay just as Dr. Mary Warren is dying. Nuria watches her die and then finally understands she couldn't be saved. His powers do have limits. Picard's people are remarkable, but they are not supreme beings. Troy attempts to dissuade Liko by casting doubt as to whether Picard actually wants him to sacrifice her, but Liko prays to the Picard for guidance. And just in time, Picard doesn't appear. Actually, I've got a picture of that. I have a picture, and it looks like this. Oh, not that one. There he is. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't appear. There he is. He returns with Nuria, who attempts to persuade Liko that Picard is mortal and not the Overseer or a god. Liko, however, will not believe it. He begs for Picard to restore his dead wife. But Picard again tries to explain that this is impossible. In a desperate attempt to demonstrate Picard's supreme nature, Liko aims his bow and threatens to shoot him. Nuria tries to stand between the two of them, but Picard gently moves her out of the way, encouraging him to indeed shoot, if that is the only way he'll be convinced that he's truly mortal. Liko does shoot. But just as he does so, OG pushes him, so the arrow injures Picard in the shoulder instead of through his mechanical heart. For all to witness, only now, as Nuria shows him Picard's red blood, does Liko believe in Picard's mortality. Oh, hello. Dr. Crusher repairs... You just, slurped that through your mic.
No, it was just my cup grazed.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, it was like a grazing of this, beveled thing against the mic.
Yeah. Open Gangnam Style. Dr. Crusher repairs his injuries. LaForge will supervise the dismantling of the observation post after Picard makes one last visit to Mintaka 3. With his arm in a sling... Oh, we got a picture of it?
Yes.
There we go. With his arm in a sling, Picard shows them the observation post and explains their presence, their desire for research, and explains the Prime Directive. Liko now shows a firm understanding, ruefully acknowledging that his own reaction to the Federation's presence illustrates the wisdom of keeping their presence concealed. Nuria thanks Picard for showing her the grand scale of what her people can accomplish, even if it takes several lifetimes to do so. After accepting a tapestry from a Mintakan boy, Nuria takes Picard's hands and asks him to remember her people. And Picard says, always. And that's the end of the episode.
It's like kind of there in the background, though you can't really sort of see it all that well. But that extra behind there had just like, I mean, I know they've all got fairly insane eyebrows, but hers weren't just like up here and pointy outy. They were also like about an inch thick.
This one up here.
Yeah, the one in the top right corner. Yeah. They were like so big and bushy. That was like the craziest eyebrows. I was like, woof.
They're an eyebrow that Klingon would be proud of.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Klingons do, they got impressive eyebrows, haven't they?
They do. That's true. So, so one thing is, why would his arm be in a sling? They've got, such bone fusing and whatever technologies these days, but I don't know. You would just think they've got such good medical tech that you wouldn't require something like a sling.
He doesn't need it, basically. He doesn't need it, but because he was shot in the shoulder, if he come back down and was just like,
all fixed.
They'd be like, but you're a god! And he'd be like, oh no, not again.
Not that again.
I thought we got past this.
Pretend like I'm injured.
Yeah.
And another person pointed out that, being that they are proto-Vulcans, they probably have green blood. When Nuria was like, look at this, rather than, oh my God, they're mortal. They'd have been like, oh my God, he's
the
not,
hell's-
you know, he doesn't have green blood. Oh
Why
my
is
God.
there tomato sauce all over that person?
So yeah, it might have freaked them out even more. But obviously it didn't. Also, did you see the arrow that he shot?
I saw the
It had
arrow.
like a weird like rubber bung thing on the end. Like it wasn't like a normally an arrow that you're actually going to use to shoot somebody would be, you know, have a tapered pointy end. But this one didn't.
Well, it's
I don't
probably
even know if it would have stuck into somebody. It would have
probably
probably
a
just
safety prop arrow because it's, you know,
Yeah.
on set. Yeah.
Shame they don't take the same care with guns, eh?
Yeah.
dear.
I was about to say something similar.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, so basically, it probably wouldn't have gone in. It would have hurt a lot. It would have massively bruised and might have, I don't know. Yeah, it would have definitely hurt, but it probably wouldn't have stuck out of him in that way because it had a rubber bung on the end.
Oh, I just realised. I've just realised. Sorry, Karen. I'll endeavour to. There you go. There you go. There you go. Look. Oh no! Oh, he just walks out the door. That's typical. Isn't it? Chewie. Choo-choos.
Has Karen said something in chat? Am I not picking up chat? Let me try again. Oh, not Netflix. I want YouTube.
Yeah, sorry. I hadn't realised he was on his bed. Oh, there you go, Karen. That's Chewy just for you. Look. See, who needs me?
Mickey says guns don't shoot people, actors do.
Oh, someone just called him out. Damn it. I had got him on his bed briefly. No, I just got him on his bed for Karen. You called him out.
I know,
Yeah.
I see him.
Yeah.
Choo choo.
Little
Choo poo.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go, Karen. Yeah. Yes, so that's the end of the episode. We're done. And so are we going to want question time?
I think we have 2 more questions left.
We have the Act 5 question and our bonus question. It's a big bonus. Get it? Bonus.
It's really not though. Don't get your hopes up, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So question 5 is, what is the name of the Doctor who dies in this act, in Act 5?
One of the things. Oh, so yeah, the thing with the Doctor who died. I don't know if you noticed. Did you notice her hand?
No.
It's like once you notice it, you can't look away from it. So she dies. She's there on the table, and then there's this whole conversation that takes place between Picard and Nuria. But the knuckles of the Doctor is just in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen the whole time. It's like sort of like this, and it's going, and every now and then, like the thumb will move.
Oh.
So although you're watching them, you can just see this set of knuckles going up and down, up and down. I would have thought that they would have been able to, because it was like right in the corner, and it was really close up. It was like, you know, it's like this, and they're in the background talking. But you would think they would have been able to just take that out somehow when they digitally remastered it, because it just looks really odd. It's one of those things where if you're looking at their faces, you kind of wouldn't notice it in the corner, but once you see it, you can't not see it.
No, I was seeing if we had any pictures of that, but we don't. I mean, I have a picture of the person on the table, so you can.
Oh no, that's fine.
What?
I was just going to say, before you move away from that picture, I also had a comment about the tapestry, but
This
that's fine. We
person
can talk about
here.
that in a minute. Yeah. So it's that hand that she had on her stomach there when they're sort of chatting afterwards. It's right in the bottom right corner of the screen, up close. I mean, if it was further away like this, you might not see it bobbing up and down so much when she's breathing, but because it's just out of the corner, you can see it obvious, you know, because it's like you can only see like that much of it. You can sort of obviously see it going like this. Anyway.
Another interesting thing is these doors have been painted orange. Not that
They
anybody
used to
really
be like
cares.
a creamy colour.
Yeah, they used to be like grey.
Grey.
There you go. That's what it looked like before, and what it looks like now. It's orange now, which is kind of interesting. Another thing you're going to mention is the evolution of Dr. Crusher's lab coat.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to actually say that, didn't I? I mentioned it to you before we started and then forgot.
Season 1's lab coat. That's what that one looked like. And this is what it looked like in Evolution. It's slightly, and that's this season. It's got like a high collar, but it's still short. It's the short lab coat. So it's similar to the season 1 one, just without the. Oh, it is very similar. I think that one had like
maybe she was just pulling the
longer lapels. But now you can see in this, she's got the all the way down to her knees, a long lab coat, and
apparently she keeps this now through all the way to the films or something.
Yeah, this is just her standard. It's a bit like the change in the uniforms, really. This is the standard lab coat for her now.
And I noticed they still are wearing the ones with the seams, the uniforms with the seams. Because at some point this season, I think they start changing, but I keep looking out for it.
Yeah.
Can't even remember a doctor. Oh, bless him.
And
Karen goes for Dr. David Banner.
Close. You're going to say something about this picture here?
Yeah, just that tapestry thing. So they gave him that tapestry, and apparently that factors a lot in it in the future. Like that's always on his chair, apparently, but it's just not something I ever really noticed. But I'd like to, as we move forward, just to notice in the future that tapestry in his ready room.
Well, spoilers. I can give you a little bit of a spoiler alert on that one.
Apparently, again, it's always there on his chair all the way through to the films.
Yeah, in the episode Sarek.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And whenever you see his quarters from now on, you'll
it's his quarters, is it?
It's in his quarters.
Not his ready room, right?
No, not his ready room. In his quarters, he's got this like desk with a nice big display behind it, and you'll see it in that. That's an example from Sarek. This is his chair in First Contact.
Oh yeah, still there. It's nice that they've,
from the episode
clearly,
lessons.
I don't know if it was supposed to be sat on, but it's nice that they've kind of carried that prop through as a reminder of his time there. It's good.
Star Trek Insurrection.
Nice.
Which is the remake of this episode.
Yeah.
And there it is, still in his chair.
Very cool.
It's cool.
Stuplum says Doctor Who, so I think nobody knows this one.
Okay, nobody knew this one, and I was probably too quick. I should have put more emphasis on. I should have put more emphasis on the Doctor's name, but the Doctor who died was called Dr. Maria
Warren.
Dr. Warren. Yeah, it wasn't Dr. Maria. It was Dr. Warren. I don't know where Chewie's gone.
Dr. Warren.
Sorry, Karen. He disappeared again. Though David Banner was a good guess, and so was Doctor Who. Dr. Lana. It was a good guess.
What was her first name? Because you did say, because I
Mary.
only knew she was Dr. Mary Warren. Okay.
It's Dr. Mary Warren. Bless her. Bonus question.
Now, is this just a normal question, or is this a fingers on buzzer question? As it's the last one.
This is fingers on buzzers.
Fingers on buzzers. Okay.
Well, the first person to get the right answers into chat, I will dish out 5,000 points.
So, what is the name of?
Who is not in this episode?
Yeah. Or what is it? It's got to be what is the name of?
Oh.
What is the name of the main crew member who's not in this episode?
Yeah. What is the name of the crew member who is not in this episode? Who's missing? Who we got missing from this
Flingies
episode?
on boozers.
Yeah. Get it in chat.
So yeah, hand goes up and down. We did that one. Shouldn't have a sling. We did that one. Yeah, I think that's about it. Apparently, the unusual looking bow is a Martin Dynabo was the make of that bow. It's actually a proper bow. And that's about it. There was there was some stuff around why did Picard say beam Nuria directly to transporter room 1? Like, that's a weird thing, but he was saying that because that's the one that he was about to go to, right? They didn't want, he didn't want them to, he'd turn up at transporter room 1 and they'd beam her into transporter room 3 or something. But then when he got there, he did it himself anyway, so he really didn't need to give Data that command, to be fair. But and the other one was that commentary that Picard and Riker and Troy could have done a bit better with, like, misleading the Mintakans, or come up with some kind of ideas around things that would have been a bit more convincing, like perhaps the Picard had sent Palmer down to do a task and now he had to be sent back, something that would easily convince them to just let Palmer go, something that was closer to the truth, perhaps. But they did, generally quite a poor job at convincing the Mintakans to do anything. But yeah. Worf, Crusher.
Got any guesses?
We just showed pictures of. Oh, he says Crusher.
Got any
Which Crusher?
guesses, Karen?
Guesses, Karen?
Guesses, Karen? Yeah, we want your guess. I'm going to have to put the camera back on me as Chewie's not around. There we go. Just moving the camera with my foot.
Oh.
There we go. Yes.
That's all the... Smiley Rainbow says, me, I'm not in this episode.
Well, that's
you
true.
aren't. And you are a main character in our lives.
Yes. Just not
in Star Trek.
Not TNG. No. As much as we'd all want to be. Stu Plum's clarified Wesley Crusher.
Yes. Yeah, at first when you put Crusher, I was like, yeah, but she was. And then I was like, oh.
Well, Karen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Stu Plum was first finger on buzzed. He's outbuzzed you. I wasn't going to accept just Crusher, but he's clarified Wesley, and that is correct. The main crew member who is not in this episode is Wesley Crusher. Worf was unfortunately in the episode, Mickey, at the very beginning.
As was LaForge. Yeah, they were both in it for just the very first part, weren't they, when they were heading to Mintaka 3?
Yeah. Geordie and
I pointed out that, I pointed out to you, didn't I, that O'Brien is also not in it, but at this point, he's still not really considered a main cast member.
Yeah.
You could have got half points if you thought of that, though.
Yeah, I would have given you 5 points.
5 points, great.
Here's a picture from the beginning of the episode, and you can see we've got Geordie and Data and Troy, Worf, Picard, Riker, and we know the Doc's in it in sickbay, but Wes is missing. No Wesley, just someone with an old uniform on who now feels really out of place and kind of like someone who's wearing last year's fashion, Yeah.
I like it.
There we go.
Cool.
So, yes. So, that's 5,000 points to Stu Plum. So, what does that do?
Plum
what does that do to the scores? I'm interested to know.
Mickey is in second place with 6,187 points. To be fair, probably lots more, many times the maximum points you've ever scored before, Mickey. But Stu Plum pips him to the post with 13,126 points.
Wow, that's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
So a win for Stu Plum. Well done to the Stu.
Oh, lost my camera. So now, please put your scores in chat. What do you think this episode is Duckworth out of 10. What would you score this one for season 3?
Ooh.
And we'll get
You got your spreadsheet.
I got my things ready. Here's this. Here's the old spreaders. I'll get the spreaders out.
Which to do?
And you can see here.
This is only episode 4, is it?
I've put Stu Plum's score on, so now Stu Plum's got 2.
Nice.
Karen's got 1, and Smiler Rainbow's got 1. So, yes,
nice.
Well done, everyone.
Mickey, what's going on, Mickey? You got to pull your finger. I mean, I know you're not well, but and you got the rest of the season to catch up. But we're used to you dominating week after week.
You could have cleaned up with these questions this week. You could have cleaned up. Right.
I can see your score. Your camera shows more of you now, so it's not going to be a surprise.
It is going to be a surprise, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
You just changed it.
No.
Oh.
Right.
All right, then.
So what scores have we got in, then?
Can you just go up on the spreadsheet a bit so I can see what I put on other episodes?
No, you're not allowed to see. You're not allowed
okay.
to see. Yeah, go on then. Here you go.
Fine,
there you go.
Fine.
That's what you've given so far. There we go.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
Are we still on air? I'm asking for people to put. They're not doing this. Their Toad Maz. They're kind of rebelling or something. Okay.
Mickey said he had a couple of good laughs in this episode, so that's okay,
and he hasn't even seen it. That's good.
Well, I hope you do enjoy the episode when you watch it.
Oh yeah, Mickey can't even score it, can he? Because he hasn't even seen it. But imagine,
no, that's right.
Imagine what you'd give it. There you go. How about that? Yeah.
Anyway, they can always put theirs in a bit.
Right. Well, we'll give you our scores anyway. Here we ready, Maria? Here we go.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
8 and 8.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean 8 feels high, but then I look at my other scores and I think it's the best episode yet. So
yeah, I think I've gone too early. I think with these scores. I'd like to take a more down one. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is. I really quite enjoyed watching this episode.
Yeah, I've always liked this episode though, so that was kind of no surprise that I enjoyed it. If anything, I was that little bit more critical this time because I was looking for goofs and things, and miscontinuity and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I've always quite liked this episode.
I quite like the wholesome flavour of it. How they were, apart from that one idiot guy who shot Picard. They were decent people mixed up in this situation, and I thought it was quite nice that it wasn't just like bad alien of the week or whatever with superpowers or something. It was just a nice sci-fi story, and
I mean, it was such a good premise. They made a whole film out of it. So,
they did.
Yeah.
They made a whole film out of it, and I like the fact that they shot it on location.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get the horrible matte paintings and the studio. Oh, look, he's back, Karen. I gotta move it back over. You staying, Choo Choos? You staying? Oh yeah, you staying. There you go. There you go, Karen.
And Stu Plum scored it an 8. Karen scored it a 7. So pretty high scores in chat as well.
I liked seeing Vulcan-like characters, even if they weren't Vulcan. I quite liked. That just made it feel nice and Star Trekky. We don't see many Vulcans in TNG. They purposely left them out because they thought they'd done Vulcans to death. So
yeah,
still, it was nice seeing pointy ears. And
I liked how, with the Vulcans, it's all this is logical and stuff. But with them, it was reasonable, wasn't it? There are people based on reason. And, that sounds reasonable and that is not reasonable. So it's like kind of a twist on a theme.
Yeah.
And even the like the set for their, their quarters or wherever, not their quarters, but that like stone stone fortress thing that they were in a lot of the time, with like the coals and, although it looked like a set, I thought the lighting of it was quite good, and it was quite a well-placed set where it had levels and stairs and, so I thought even the design of that was pretty good for a one-off episode.
Yeah, and as far as I know, that that set was last used in Ensigns of Command.
Oh.
The one with Data, and you had to go to that planet and convince them to leave.
Yeah, that was just, 2 episodes ago, wasn't it? Or was that last episode? Yeah, 2 episodes ago.
2 episodes ago. That was the same village set, just shot from a slightly different angle.
Yeah, it seemed sort of smaller and darker and more undergroundy, but yeah, cool.
I've got... Well, just... I'll just...
He's gone again.
Oh, he's gone again. He likes to pop by and say hello every now and again. So, for example, this is those 2 guys that they convinced to leave, the people that greet him in the shuttle. That's them walking downstairs there. And then from this episode, here are those same stairs.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, it's a nice little set, I think. It's sort of, it feels quite good. And I like the low lighting in it as well.
But you were right to point out...
It feels Stone Agey.
You're right to point out that if you look at it here, it doesn't have the cobblestones. So in Ensigns of Command, it didn't have the cobblestones on it. And then for this episode, they added the stone bits to make it unique. And it kind of makes it look warmer and rustic, doesn't it? Makes it look more lived in, and something that has been built over time. Like, you imagine that this is the wall of the original whatever was here, and then they've built on top of an older thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so it looks good. Looks really good.
It's a nice set.
It is.
And even there's quite a lot of extras in this, really, for like a normal episode, and they were all pretty good, like actor-wise. They were all pretty convincing. There was nothing that was really horrible and cheesy. Think of all the doctors as extras as well as all the Mintakans. It was pretty good in terms of cast and crew.
Yeah, just all round solid episode, isn't it? Really. Yeah.
Can't see Choo Choo, just a big spreadsheet. Oh, well, yeah, that was a spreadsheet. Well, yeah, I was going to say. Well, yeah, when we're small, I guess it's harder to see. But he would have been on that little paw print sheet there.
Yeah, she's probably watching us on her mobile phone or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, good episode. Enjoyed it. What's next week then? Ha! Have I caught you out this time?
You have.
Yay! Oh, and also, you haven't given us a Klingon word of the week.
No, I haven't. I didn't think of getting one. Give me a moment. I will get one for you.
I'm asking you to do multiple things.
Yeah,
now.
just try to stress me out as much as you possibly can. So next week is the bonding.
Oh, is that the one where they bring a person on board?
Yeah, it's about a boy who's lost his mum.
Not that one then. I thought it might have been the one where they bring this creature on board that's supposed to bond with this other person, and they decide to bond with someone else, but maybe that's different then. A boy who I don't know what this is.
Oh, it might be. I think.
Maybe
Does Troy get mixed up with an ambassador or something, and Data befriends a boy who lost his mum, something like that. I think. I might be wrong.
Oh, yes, I'm with you. It's that one. Yeah, it's not the one I was thinking. It's a way worse one. Yeah. Okay, so...
Not a great episode next week. Not a great episode.
But you never know. we've thought other ones were going to be rubbish, and they've turned out to be better than we
That's
thought.
true.
So
No, that's
who
really
knows?
true. Sometimes the episodes that I used to think were really bad, I've really enjoyed this time round because I'm older and I don't mind boring things. When I was younger, it was just like, oh, that's a boring episode. There's no phasers firing and no explosions. And now I don't mind it so much, you know. Now it's kind of like, oh, no, it's all right. It's all right. It had interesting characters and development and, you know, so, yeah. Once again, this episode didn't have an A and B story. It just kind of had the main,
That's true.
main thing. There was
about that.
There was no setup and payoffs that I can point out. But it's still well written. It was nicely paced. There was no filler. You know, sometimes you feel that they've run out of story a bit too early, or they've tried to rush things to squeeze it in or something. But it's just nicely paced. It just filled out the length, and yeah, it was just good all round story.
It was.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it.
Night, Stew Plum.
Night, Stew Plum.
Have a nice night. And I think that's
Klingon word of the week.
Klingon word of the week. I will give you
goodbye or good night.
Oh, good night. That's a good one.
You could say that every week then to reinforce our learning.
Yeah. Well, good is Maj, and night is bear with me. There is no word for night. Oh, yes, there is. Ram. Najram.
Najram.
Najram. Najram.
Najram, brother.
Najram. So, yeah, that's our Klingon word. Klingon word of the week. Najram, Stuplum. Najram. There you go. Figured it out. We figured it out. We got there. We covered all our bases. So, yes, join us next week for the bonding. We will make it fun and interesting, even if the episode maybe not so much.
Well, it's about a little boy, so let's just throw in a load of, sort of sexual innuendo just to make it really inappropriate. Or not.
How to get the stream cold.
Oh, yeah. No, don't make it like that.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yes. Okay. Yep. So, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you to Mickey joining us on his sick bed. You stuck it out, mate, for the whole episode. Thank you very much. We're proud to have you as one of our watchers. And thank you, Karen and Stu Plum and my Wrench Smiler Rainbow. And, of course, my lovely co-host, Mazin with Bob. We will see you next week at 8 o'clock for another Star Trek TNG review show. Good night.
Yes. Najram.
Najram all. See you later. Live long and prosper.
Always.